without any further ado, I want to introduce our guest chef. This is Chef Michelle Bernstein. She's a famous chef here. She has a couple of television shows that you may or may not have seen on PBS.
One on PBS, one on Channel 10.
And one on Channel 10. One called Check Please, and the other...
SoFlo Taste.
SoFlo Taste.
Yeah.
So we're honored. We actually have someone who's very comfortable in front of the camera cooking with us today. And you can go ahead and ask questions like you did last time as we move along. But please make sure you've got your meal kit open, your ingredients out, your water boiling, and we're gonna let Michelle start taking us through the recipe. And then we can ask questions, and I have a few questions for Michelle too. So
awesome.
We'll go ahead and start.
So just so you all know, I'm cooking rice. I didn't have the boil in the bag rice. I kind of wish I did so I could do it with you, but I just have regular rice, jasmine rice, and it's cooking right there. So if you want to cook your rice at any time, go for it. I also opened up a can of black beans, frijoles negros, and they are in this pot. I'm just going to turn that on. And I'm sorry, I don't know this stove all too well. So if I hit, you know, it's on. I'm good. Oopsie, I shut it off. See? I don't know the stove all too well. All right. So I'm going to heat up my frijoles or black beans. I'm just going to let them go. I figured I wanted to teach you frijoles. I'm sure some of you make them better than I do, and they take too long. So forget that. So instead, I'm going to teach you today how to make albondigas, which are meatballs, but these are turkey meatballs, and they're made with a sofrito sauce. Sofrito is really, I guess you could say, the main base to Latin cooking. And sofrito changes from what Latin country you happen to hail from. And they also make sofrito in countries like Haiti and the Caribbean, but everybody calls them something different. They add different things into them. Some are spicy, some aren't. So I'm gonna give you something a little more, I hate the word safe, because I'm never safe, but I'm gonna give you something kind of general and basic and very simple. Because I love simple.
And
so
simple is what we're about.
Right?
So that's wonderful.
Yeah. So we're going to jump in. Okay. Is that Adrian? You are so cute.
Yes.
Tell me.
What temperature do I cook the beans? Like on low?
If the frijoles are coming out of a can, just keep them on a nice low heat.
Okay. And how much water do I use?
You don't add water to frijoles. They should be out of...
like how much water do I use for the rice?
2 cups. 2 cups. Right?
Thank you.
Perfect.
You got it, honey. All right. So I like to get all my chopping done first. Okay?
I like that. Little ones in the kitchen cooking. That's good.
I agree. Although I kick...
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Please, by all means. I was going to say I wish my son wanted to cook with me. He says, no, Mom, you're too chefy, so he leaves. Anyway. All right, so...
For 2 cups, it's 1 bag, or 2 cups is for both bags?
You can use both bags in the same pot. That's fine. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Do I put it on low or high?
Yeah.
The water should be boiling before you add in the bags.
So put the water on high. Okay, let's pause on questions just for a second so Michelle can get through our first step with those that are trying to cook.
Okay, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and I cut the onion in half, and now I'm just going to peel it because I'm going to get all the chopping done. All right, but we're not going to mix everything we're chopping. We're going to keep everything separate, and I'll explain why in a minute. But let's go ahead and peel our onion halves, just like so. And let's get rid of our onion peels.
Great.
All right. So we're going to do little fine chops of our onion. So let me show you quickly how to do that, or maybe slowly. All right. So we're going to take the onion just like this. There's a half an onion, and I still have the little bottom piece together, the core, so that it kind of stays in one piece. Okay, I'm going to take my onion, and I'm going to be really careful holding the onion like so. Okay, we're going to slice thin slices from the bottom of the onion. So I would say that I'm going I'm going to pretend that there are 6 slices in here. So I'm going 1/6 of the onion first, just sliding through, but not all the way through to cut through the half onion. I'm going to do that again.
And by doing that, making sure that you have the end on it, it keeps everything together.
That's right.
If you slice all the way through, it's very difficult to get a fine chop.
But if you do, I can help you through that as well. So again, just so you know, I'm cutting 6 slices, but I'm not going through any of them, okay? I'm stopping right at the end, just right there, removing the knife, and then I'm going to turn the onion a little bit this way so that I can slice now thin slices all the way down the other way. So I'm going to take the the knife, cutting it down, and that's about 1/4 of an inch.
And Michelle, why is it important for this recipe to get a fine dice? I mean,
so for me, all recipes, the smaller the onion, the less you notice it. It just melts in your mouth and it blends with everything else that you have going on in the recipe. If you have big chunks of onion that don't sweat or melt down into like a sauce or anything else, someone's biting into an onion and some people love it and some people don't. But people that don't love onions don't even know they're in there if you cut them this small. And I love that.
Great.
All right, so now I'm actually going to cut it into little tiny pieces. So because I've cut it in 2 ways, now I should have a little tiny dice. And you see how tiny that is? That's what we're looking for.
Great.
And if yours didn't come out as small, I would be very happy because that means that I'm not competing with you. So
we have some pretty good culinary skills out there.
I would think so. Now I'll tell you what, for those of you that maybe weren't as successful as that, I'm going to show you how to chop an onion nice and small. So let's put all this tiny one aside. And then I'm going to take this one. And let's just say, I don't know, let's just say by mistake we sliced it like so. And I don't really need this whole onion, but let's just go a couple more pieces. All right. So let's just say I did that by mistake, or, you know, I didn't feel like following Michelle Bernstein's advice. So let's line all these up together in a couple of separate piles, okay? And I'm going to show you a little trick. And by the way, if you do this way, you cry a lot more than you would cry doing this way. If I make you cry, I'm very sorry.
I cry very easily.
Okay, well, so do I, actually. So now I'm going to take those slices, and I'm going to start cutting them at one side of them and move the onion along with it. And I'm actually getting a little diced piece by doing that. One thing I should have told you when I first started, this is what I teach kids because we have a foundation called Common Threads, and we teach little kids how to cook. This is a bear claw. You ever seen a bear claw? This is what we call a bear claw. And this is how you protect your knuckles when you're chopping. So if you think of the way a bear's claw is, and you touch your food like this, you will never cut your fingers off. You will always have the protection of your finger in the way.
That's a good tip.
That's right. All right, so I'm just going to cut this a little bit more. I actually have more than enough onion because we're using a half an onion for the meatball and a half an onion for the sauce. But my meatballs, I like my onions cooked. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to cook all the onion for both the meatball and, ¿cómo se llama? The sofrito together.
Okay.
Amanda, how am I doing on my rice?
6 minutes, Chef.
6 more minutes? Okay, great. So the next ingredient that I need is garlic. So let me just put this little pile of onion to the side and let's jump right into garlic.
Okay, you all should have that in your meal kit. If it hasn't been peeled, you go ahead and peel your garlic.
Oh,
Yep.
it's whole. Okay.
It's whole. We're using how many cloves, Chef?
I think it's only like 3. Let's see. I have 2 cloves of garlic for the albondiga and 1 clove of garlic for the sauce. So only 3 cloves of garlic.
Okay, so go ahead and peel your garlic. You've got a whole garlic there. You've got extra for future recipes. You're looking for 3 of those peeled. Yep, very good. I'm seeing people show them to it. It's nice if you can show us the camera so we can see
That's
how
great.
you're doing.
And just so you know, it's so much better you use whole garlic because it's more fresh. And let me teach you a trick. Once you take a piece of that garlic out of there, go ahead and take a knife and just smash the garlic with a knife, and that will help you peel it.
Right, that was a tip we learned in a different show too.
Oh, really?
It's a really nice to remember, take the flat side of the knife, and we were told to go ahead and smash
Great.
right on that,
Great.
and that makes it easier to peel. Right. Okay, so we are going
Should we
to...
move on?
Yeah, let's move
Okay,
on.
great.
Everyone's going to catch up with us.
All right, so I'm gonna pound a little bit on the flat side of the knife on my garlic cloves just to smash them a little bit before I chop them. So with the palm of my hand, I'm pushing on the flat end of the knife. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just gonna chop those up. They don't have to be too crazy fine, just a little bit. Like so.
And if you guys have helpers in the kitchen with you, have somebody take a look at your water right now and see if it's boiling. If it is boiling, it's okay to go ahead and drop in your rice bags into the boiling water. And we'll watch that and I'll remind you to check on it in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, everybody. Let's go ahead and start cooking the onion and the garlic, and then we're going to get back into the chopping as that cooks. So I'm going to cook this on a very, very low heat. So let's add your oil. So it's 1/2 tablespoon for the sauce. You know what, everybody? Let's add 1 whole tablespoon because we're going to cook this for both the meatball and the sauce. We're going to get a little ahead today. So let's add about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You got it?
They should have that measured out in a
Okay,
souffle
perfect,
cup. So
perfect.
go ahead and you're saying use all the oil that they have.
All
in
the
this
oil that
souffle.
you have, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going to add all of the onion that I've chopped. I was actually impressed. I don't know if it was asaria, but somebody showed me some onions that were chopped beautifully.
Yeah.
I was pretty proud.
Share if you can if you're okay turning on your cameras, share what you're doing. We love to see you cooking at home. Okay. Did we have a question, Alessandra? I saw something in the chat box.
I don't think we have a question. I'm just posting the instructions in Spanish.
Okay.
Thank you. Y si me tienen que preguntar algo en español, soy argentina. Me pueden preguntar y te puedo decir lo que
And I have
necesitamos
no idea
hacer.
what she just said, but I'm glad she can speak Spanish.
So my beans have come to a boil. I'm just gonna the heat here, because this is a professional kitchen, is very strong. So I'm gonna shut my beans off because they're already come to a boil and I can't lower that. But at home you can keep them on a really nice low heat so that they're not boiling, they're just kind of warming through. All right, so I'm turning on my stove, and like I said, I'm gonna let the garlic and the onion cook on a nice low heat so that they don't burn, because I'm gonna keep chopping, which I would love you to do as well.
Chef, should they have their oven preheating at this point?
Oh yes, everybody, turn on your oven to 300, thank you so much, Stacy, 350 degrees, please. 350 degrees, okay? All right, so our onions and garlic are starting to cook. Okay, everybody, we're gonna keep on cooking our onion, and then, so because we do have parsley, so let's chop some parsley, everybody. This is gonna be going into our meatball, or as I like to call them, meatballs, or we can also call them in Spanish. Can anybody tell me what a meatball is in Spanish? Dale, en español, ¿cómo se dice meatball? Alguien, decime, ¿cómo se dice un meatball? It's the title of our recipe, everybody. Se dice albóndigas.
Albondigas.
Ay, ay,
There we
ay.
go. There we go.
Y'all, my Latin's left me hanging. What's going on here? Come on.
They may be on mute. They have to get
Okay.
themselves off mute.
Okay, so I am just gonna kind of roll my parsley leaves up a little bit, and I'm gonna chop some of them just a little bit. We don't need much. In my recipe, I only need about 2 tablespoons. So this is more than 2 tablespoons. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna attack it with a knife, okay, everybody? So we're gonna go crazy and chop, chop, chop. And it smells so fresh already. Right, Stacy?
It smells good. And those onions and garlic are smelling good too. I'm sure your homes and kitchens are smelling just like that. Keep an eye on those onions and garlic. Make sure that they're not browning too much. They should be on a low heat. It's just a reminder.
Okay, everyone. Next step. We're gonna take about half of what's in this pot of onions and garlic, and we're gonna put them into a bowl.
So just to clarify, we're
Only
using
half.
half of that, correct?
The other half is gonna stay in this pot. Does everybody understand? Give me a thumbs up. Some of you are missing the
there's
mark.
a
I
thumb-
like
there's
it.
a
Okay.
thumbs up. Good.
So, to the ones that are in the pot, we're gonna add oregano.
So, Michelle, they have.
Do they have
their
it measured?
They have it all measured in 1 cup. All
Okay.
the dry herbs are
Great.
together.
So all of those dry herbs that you have that are all combined, add them all. And I'm just telling you what they are. They're oregano, sweet paprika, cumin, comino, and a little bit of red chili flake.
Okay, now the red chili flake, Alessandra, I saw somebody lift a package up. Is that not measured with the dried herbs? Is that separate?
It's not measured. I didn't want to mix it in case anybody didn't like the
spice.
Okay, great. So if anybody doesn't want to use the red pepper flake or red chili flake, don't use it. If you like it just a touch spicy, just put 1 pinch in here. If you don't like the heat, don't use it. If you like a little bit of heat, use a pinch. If you like a lot of heat, use 1 teaspoon, but no more, because you will hate me later if you add more than 1 teaspoon of that stuff. Got it? So 1 pinch is what I like.
Great. We have some families out there that do like it spicy.
Right.
So,
Then add a teaspoon.
Right.
Okay. And now I'm going to add the tomato sauce.
So that's the whole can of tomato sauce. We have to decide what size can of tomato
Right.
sauce.
So
we do.
I have in my recipe, I've got 1 cup of tomato sauce. How big is your can of tomato sauce that you all got?
Can you show it to us, Emmanuel?
Can somebody tell me what number is on there?
Yeah, that looks good. 15.
That, okay.
13 ounces.
Use almost like a little more than half of that. A little more than half of what you got. Okay?
And we added that straight to the sauteed onion, garlic,
And-
herbs, and red pepper, right?
Well, no herbs, just spices.
Or the dried,
Yeah, all the dried spices.
dried spices,
Yes,
correct.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so a little more than half of what's in your can goes into here. So again, just to clarify, we've got the sauteed onions, the garlic, the spices, and remember that red chili flake, a pinch if you're me, a teaspoon if you like it hot, and none if you don't like any.
Great.
After that, we added our 1 cup of tomato sauce, which is just a little bit more than half of what you have in your can. After that, I'm adding 1 cup of water. Doesn't matter if it's cold or hot.
Okay, so you guys,
Question, did you add the parsley in there?
No, ma'am. The parsley goes into the meatball.
yeah, we just added the dried spices,
No
none of the
herbs.
fresh.
No
Right.
herbs. No herbs are going anywhere. I just chopped some parsley for later. I put half of the onion and the garlic into this mixing bowl because that's going to be for my meatball. The other half stayed in the pot for the sauce.
Right.
Are we good?
I think we're good. I think we can keep going on.
Okay, great. So, I've got my water in here. I'm going to just let that cook for a little while. I need that to really concentrate and get nice and flavorful. So I'm leaving the water, the tomato sauce, half of the onions and the garlic and the spices. We're going to just let that cook, okay? And don't let it boil. Just keep it on like a medium low to just let it get some flavor. And then we're, okay,
How much water do we use?
1 cup.
Okay, thank you.
You got it, honey. All right. Now, let's jump into the meatballs. We've got that half onion and a little bit of garlic in this pan that we separated from the cooked part, right? Now we're going to add the turkey, the ground turkey that was given to y'all. And this is going to go with those garlic and onions.
Yes, you're showing the ground turkey. Go ahead and open it out of its package and add that to the bowl with half the onions. I know we're repeating ourselves
That's okay.
a lot, but that's what we do.
We got a lot of people here. So, to this ground turkey, we've got the onion, we've got the garlic. I'm going to add the parsley that I chopped up. I'm gonna add this yogurt, the Greek yogurt that was given to y'all.
Michelle, talk a little bit about why
I would
you
love to.
I mean, I'm curious. Why are you using yogurt in meatballs? That just seems such like a strange ingredient.
I'm so glad you asked that question. I was going to jump into that, and thank you for reminding me. So, yogurt's amazing, y'all, like to bake with or to cook with. It softens the flavor of things, but it also softens the texture. So if you marinate with yogurt, like let's say lamb in yogurt, chicken in yogurt, it just tenderizes naturally the meat. It breaks it down. But in this recipe, it actually softens the meat so that they're fluffy, soft meatballs, and it softens the flavor, which I love as well.
Okay, so for your yogurt, you have a 5-ounce container. You're just going to use half that container in the meatballs.
Thank you for that.
Go ahead and grab those containers. We only need half of it. You can save the other half
to eat.
For a great nutritious snack somewhere a little bit later from now.
Now, if you did put all the yogurt in there, I just want you to know you did not ruin your recipe because it actually will work without a problem.
Yeah.
But I would only use half for this, just so that I could save some later for dessert with some yogurt and honey. Okay. All right, moving on, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and add finally the breadcrumbs to my albondigas.
So you have a container of breadcrumbs. It's already been measured out. Just go ahead, once you get that yogurt in, mix it up a little bit, and now add the breadcrumbs.
So if you use all of it, you will have absolutely delicious albondigas / meatballs. It doesn't matter. What's great about this recipe is that we don't have to do, half the yogurt, all the yogurt. We can do all the breadcrumb. It's very forgiving, and I love this recipe because of that. It's extremely forgiving. So now I'm mashing everything up with my hand. As you see, I have a gloved hand. You can use a rubber spatula or a spoon. I really like to work it with my hand because I feel like nothing brings it together better than a hand. And I'm wearing a glove because I'm not in my own kitchen with my sink right next to me, which is how I usually work. So mine came together beautifully, and I actually added too much breadcrumb, and I did it on purpose so that I could be like you guys, and it's going to be delicious. Okay, so go ahead and grab either a cookie sheet or something that you can bake on. Okay, and if you have any spray oil, now is the time to use it. If you don't have any cooking spray oil, then go ahead and just rub your pan with a little bit of oil and like a paper towel just to get it just a little greasy. Okay, everybody, let's make some meatballs. Are we good? Do y'all have your mix together? Okay, so I'm gonna put on my other glove.
Not yet. I'm still
Not yet? Okay, no worries. It's all good. The good thing about these, we're throwing them in the oven. Good job, Adrienne. So make sure your oven's at 350 because we're about to cook. Okay, so once your meatball mix is done, I like little meatballs. Some people like really big meatballs. Just so you know, the recipe of the 18 to 20 minutes is for smaller meatballs. So I'm going to show you. Mine is a little smaller than a golf ball. What do I put that next to so they'll know what that the size of my eye, the size of my nose. But anyway, not too big, not too small. Oh, is that a lime? More like a key lime.
Like
it depends on the lime.
A smaller lime.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And the point that Michelle is making is a good one, and I'll just reinforce that if your meatballs are much bigger, they're going to take longer to cook. So try to get them the size that Michelle's showing you so we can all cook at the same time, the same temperature.
One last thing. Because of everything we added into this, I didn't add any salt because we have so many flavors going on. If you like your food a little on the salty side, you may add salt to your mix before you form your meatballs. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to season them. If you like it saltier, add salt. If you like it spicier, add more chili. This doesn't have any chili flake in this. The chili flake is all in our sauce, but you can always make these spicy with a little chili flake. Adrienne, you're very good at forming meatballs. My goodness gracious.
And just
she's going faster than I am.
Reminder about your rice, everybody. It's time to check your rice. Remove it from the heat if you can. Let it sit in the water and let it cool down. But you can go ahead and make sure that that rice is removed from the heat. Yeah. So this is something that, tell us a little bit about where you grew up. And
Okay.
Did you make
So-
meatballs with your mom? And tell
Yes,
us a
I
little bit
did.
about those.
So I am born and raised in Miami. I went to Miami Shores Elementary, and then I went to North Miami Senior High. Go Pioneers. I am, a South Florida girl. I became a professional dancer, not the sexy kind, the ballet
The
kind.
ballet.
So no poles involved. So I was a professional dancer. I joined Alvin Ailey, which is an African dance company in New York City, and I danced African and ballet for years. And then I came back home and I went and studied nutrition and biochemistry, and I combined those two with cooking. And I don't know why I bothered, because I don't add a lot of that now into my cooking, but I do care a lot about what people eat, more importantly, what children eat. And so the nutrition is a huge part of what we do for families. And so like recipes like this to get you all a little Greek yogurt in a turkey meatball is so good for you. So I love what I do. I now have 4 restaurants, and we're about to have 7 by January. And like you said, I've got 2 shows, and I do a lot more than that. So I'm a busy lady. I have a 10-year-old son who would rather eat everybody else's cooking than mine, probably because he's had it for too long, and 2 dogs. So that's about it. Yeah.
You've got a house full there.
Yeah.
With the 2 dogs,
Yeah.
the child, and the busyness that you've got. Does anybody have any questions for Michelle while we're rolling some meatballs? Do you want to know anything?
I have a question.
Okay,
I have
said
2
Deanna.
questions.
Talk to me.
You have a cooking show? What's the name of your cooking show?
Yes, ma'am. I've got 2. Well, one is a cooking show that's called SoFlo Taste on Channel 10. And that's on Saturday mornings at 10:30. And then Amanda, what time is that at night? Because that also shows at night. You don't even know. Uh-huh. Okay. We don't really know because we don't watch me, because everybody's over me. And then we've got Check Please, which is a Channel 2 show, PBS show. And that's a lovely show where we talk about restaurants, and we like grab 3 regular people from the street, and they become food critics every time we sit down, and they talk about their favorite restaurants. So it's pretty fun.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, another question.
Anything.
Now, see, I noticed you mentioned that your child eats everybody's food besides yours.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So now I got a question. How do I prevent that? Because I don't want my child to grow up and she don't want to eat my food.
Well, you got to make deals with her, right? So I make deals with my son. For example, y'all are going to think this is really weird. He wakes up every morning asking me for waffles, right? Which I'll give him as long as he eats the other thing. So I made him a piece of seared salmon with asparagus today and beets. I know most kids would look at me like I had 2 heads, but I had a fresh, beautiful piece of salmon. I only gave him this much, and a little bit of asparagus and a little bit of beet. And I said, you take 2 bites of that, you get your waffle. And that's how I did it. And you know what?
I gotta bribe her.
It's not, I don't consider it a bribe. I consider them deals. And we make a lot of deals in our house. And now Zach would rather eat artichokes and asparagus more than he'd like to eat, like, I don't know, give me an example, like piece of, like a chicken wing, you know? He doesn't eat a lot of chicken tenders. He'd much rather eat, I don't know, a nice piece of meat, just delicately seared. Actually, he'd rather eat raw beef carpaccio, to be honest with you. He's a little spoiled.
Well, and
But-
you bring up a really good point here. And I thank you for the questions, Adriana.
Yeah, you're wonderful.
The more,
Thank you.
the more
Cedriana.
they are exposed to different flavors, the more they'll develop a taste for them. And I think
Yep.
that's what Michelle is saying is happening is, he's eating carpaccio and doing all, and most kids wouldn't want to even come near that. So the exposure is really important. How you do it with deals. I did it with dessert. You couldn't have dessert until you took 3 bites of your vegetables.
That's it.
I taught them asparagus was really
Their friend.
a green fry. So there's a lot of tricks you can use.
I also sneak a little bit. I sneak like shredded vegetables into lasagna and
My
like
grandma used to do that. I never used to eat carrots in my salad. So she used to shred it up and
Yeah.
I never knew what it was. And then
carrots are delicious in tomato sauce. I got to tell you. Okay, everybody, look. These are the meatballs. I'm going into 350 degrees, 18 to 20 minutes. Amanda, can I hand these off to you? I keep telling, come here, just introduce yourself. That's Amanda. She's my right hand, and she's the reason why everything seems to work. All right.
So meatballs are in the oven now, cooking, as you heard, for about 18 minutes. I know some people are still out there rolling. So just note the time on your clock when you set that in the oven.
Okay, everybody. Now that those are in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and chop some cilantro very, very roughly for the sofrito sauce that we have on the stove. So let's look at that sofrito sauce. I'm going to grab a spoon.
We can get an overhead shot here, Madsen.
Oh, that
mine
would
is
be great.
boiling.
Yeah, so is mine. So this definitely needs salt and pepper. I know that already because it didn't get any sodium yet, and it's tomato, which is highly acidic. So I'm going to add a really heavy 2 pinches of salt. And I love to use a pepper grinder. That's a personal thing. It's a very chefy thing. Just whatever pepper you've got, or if you don't want any, that's fine with me too. Let's stir that in. And I'm going to give this a taste just to see where we are.
What are you looking for? You're
Yummy.
tasting it.
Mhm.
Look
Just
for-
yummy.
look for yummy. That's good. So salt and pepper to taste, and it looks delicious. I've noticed that your sauce is thickened up quite a bit.
That's what
From
reduction.
When you first,
Yeah.
when you first added the water to where it is right now, it's getting much thicker. So another overhead shot, Madsen, one more time. I'd love for them to see how thick.
Let me
the
show you
sauce
the
is.
texture of it. Okay, everybody. So if you can see that, and let me show you the back of the spoon. That's really how you know when a sauce is thick enough. So you can put a line. You can see a line in the back of the spoon.
That's another really good trick. So you know when your sauce is done, doing just what she showed you. That's a great trick.
Thank you. Adrian, what did you just taste? Did you taste the sauce?
I tasted everything.
How are we doing?
It tasted really good. But usually,
She's going to show you.
She's showing me. I
yeah.
love it. She's so cute. Oh, your sauce looks beautiful. It's still a little watery, honey. Let's bring that down. And if anybody else wants me to see their sauce, I can tell you just from the way that it's bubbling. Because I'm all about the, somebody, Kenya, don't drop your sauce. You're freaking me out. Take the phone to the sauce. Don't take the sauce to the phone. Kenya, your sauce is definitely thick enough, honey. Yeah.
do I lower the temperature or do I raise it?
Shut it off.
Okay.
Wait, who's talking to me?
That was Adrian. Who
No,
needs to
Adrian.
think.
No, your sauce is too thin, Adrian. I was talking to Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So I put it on high.
No, put it on medium. Immaculée. Immaculée, ça va. C'est très bon. C'est très, très bon. C'est parfait.
Yes.
It's perfect. C'est parfait. D'accord?
Oui.
Okay. Azaria. Too thin. Keep on reducing.
Isn't it nice? that-
Reduce it?
I love this. It's a little too thin. You need just a little thicker.
Okay.
Immaculée is ready. Azaria needs a little more time. Adrian needs more time. Kenya definitely needs to stop. Cedriana, how's your sauce? Or are you not making it yet? Too skinny, too thin, right?
Did you say it was good?
A little watery?
Oh, these are cake.
Yeah, it looks like.
It looks a little watery, baby. Keep on going. Yeah, keep it going. You need to reduce yours a little bit.
And so, Triana, I just saw your meatballs. Are you still working on meatballs? Are you ready to get those in the oven? Okay. All right. That's okay.
I got like a little glob here left. I had to get
That's
it in.
okay.
No
That's all
problem.
right.
You can follow and catch up.
All right, everybody. So I'm holding some cilantro, and I don't know if you got it whole or leaves. Beautiful. What I love about cilantro is that the leaves are delicious, but I wouldn't the stems are delicious, but I wouldn't use the stems near the root. I would use the stems near the leaves. So I'm just going to break off a big old piece like that.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If you guys were asking me a question, I was just coming from the restroom, so I'm sorry about that. If you were asking me,
That's okay, Marcy. I didn't ask you directly. I just wanted to know if you wanted me to see your sauce to know
okay.
if it was thick enough. That's
Okay.
all.
All right, thank you.
All right, my dear. All right, so I'm going to roll up the cilantro like so. I rolled it up, and then I'm just going to chop it roughly. I don't want to chop it very fine because I love all those big pieces of cilantro. And then I'm going to add them to my sauce, which my sauce is ready. If your sauce isn't thick enough, don't do it yet. Let's wait until your sauce is thick enough. Which, remember, I told you about checking the back of the spoon and seeing if you could make a line. Mine makes a line. Okay.
Beautiful.
I'm going to add just a little pinch of capers. And if you don't love capers, don't use them. I know some people hate capers, and I get it.
For those who have never had a caper, what does it taste like?
It's briny.
Briny.
Yeah.
It's almost salty.
It's a
Right?
No,
caper.
briny is salty. Yeah. Capers are there. What, honey?
What's a caper?
Caper is this little, look at this. This is a caper. It comes from a tree. There's something called a caper berry, and there's something called, one of them is olives, the other's capers. Yep. And a lot of Italians and French use capers for sauces. And I love them when they're in sauces. I can't eat them as they are. They gross me out. But I love them in sauce.
Right.
The other thing that I love in this is an olive. Whoopsie. And these are just Spanish olives. Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and throw some Spanish olives in my sauce.
Do we need to chop them?
Nope.
Just add them whole.
Just add them in there.
Okay, right. So just go ahead and add that with.
You can cut them if you want to, but just throw them in.
Okay.
The other thing I do love in this, not all that, Adrian, only a pinch of the caper. Okay, just a little pinch. Yeah. So the other thing that I do love in this sauce, if you want, and if you have them, I love raisins in this sauce. It reminds me of like a picadillo or an arroz con pollo. Well, no, we don't do arroz con pollo. We do empanadas and picadillo with raisins. In English, that would be arroz con pollo and picadillo. But I love raisins in both of those. So I would use a little bit of raisins in here, but I wanted to keep it simple for you all. So if you don't have any raisins, don't throw any raisins in. Got it? No raisins. Okay, no worries. All right, stir that up.
Let's get another overhead shot and take a look at what Chef has got going on in this pot.
So see how beautiful? We have the little dots of the green with the caper and the olive and the cilantro. And my sauce is pretty much ready. Does anybody have questions about anything, about being a chef maybe? Tell me, Adrienne.
Adrienne, go ahead. You were talking about being a chef last time we were on.
So, what do I do with if the rice bag breaks?
The rice bag shouldn't have broken, but good point. What I want you to do is be careful. It's very, very hot, okay? If your rice bag is intact, take tongs. Yep, you got it. You remember this. Pull that rice bag out. Be careful, that's hot. Put it on a plate and let it cool down. If your rice bag did break, then what we'll need to do is strain the rice through a colander. But most of you guys have done this before and know that you just pull it out and let it cool completely. Any questions for Chef Michelle? Do you want to ask her anything more? We talked a little bit about her shows. We found out she has 2 dogs.
I have a question.
Okay.
How many years did it take for you to get out of college, like start a career on cooking?
How many years did it take to go to school and start cooking?
No, how many years did it take for her to go out of college and start her own stuff and stuff like that to start cooking?
So are you asking how many years of college I took? Well, too many. So I really didn't know what I wanted to be. So I started out with one thing, I ended up with another thing, and then I wanted to study another thing. So I actually went to college for 5 years, but then I went to culinary school, which is I'm standing here at FIU, and they have an incredible program where you can become not only a chef but also learn about business while you're here.
Okay, everybody, does anybody still not have their meatballs in the oven? Cedriana, did you get them in the oven? Thumbs up? Okay, great.
I'm going to check our rice, actually.
I haven't. I'm on my last ones.
Okay, that's fine. Just remember to check the time on the clock when you put it in the oven because our meatballs are going to be done before yours, and that's fine.
Okay, yeah, mine's already finished. And I didn't simmer the garlic and the onions like I was supposed to because everything was moving so fast. So like I just combined all of it.
Ray, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. The onions and the garlic will cook in the meatball, and they'll just release a little bit of water, which is all good. You just have to cook them a little bit longer. So did you say you made them bigger?
Yes.
Okay. So I would cook them, how big are we talking? Baseball or a little smaller than that?
Smaller than the baseball.
Okay, sweetheart. I would go 22 to 24 minutes because you did raw onion and garlic and because they're larger.
Okay.
But you did go in a hot oven, right? 350, you're going in a 350?
Yes, it's still preheating as we speak.
Okay, babe. So wait until it heats and then put it in for about 24 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's been heating since we've been cooking the entire time.
Okay, and can I give you all a little trick on how to know if food is cooked all the way through?
Would love it.
Yes.
Okay. If you all have a paring knife at your house, and I would tell the parents to do this. Ruth, why are there meatballs in your sauce? Ruth, what happened?
Okay, somebody put meatballs into the
But
sauce.
that's okay because that's actually one way to cook a meatball. Anyway, forget I asked. So take your paring knife and stick it all the way through the meatball when it comes out of the oven in the amount of time I've told you. Then you feel with the palm of, that's the palm, with the, what do you call this, the top of
The
your
top
hand?
of your hands.
Yeah, the top of your hand, that knife, okay? Sideways, obviously, don't cut yourselves. If the knife is warm all the way through, your meatball is all the way cooked. The metal will stay warm after it slides inside of that meatball. Now, the reason why we don't touch it with our fingers, what do we do all day with our fingers? We touch hot things, right? So our fingers are not sensitive. But this side of our hand is very sensitive. So after you stick your paring knife in your meatball, pull it out, touch your hand with it. If it's hot all the way through, your meatball is ready. Swear to God.
I actually have a question.
Is your sauce finished?
Did you know that this part of your actually is a it actually tells you it's like a temperature, it's like a thermometer for your body.
Thank you for that.
Thank
tip,
you for
Adrian.
that, Adrian. You're right. So this is very sensitive. Cedriana, let that cook longer. Let it cook longer, babe. You need 5 more minutes on that sauce, woman.
So
I want to talk to Ruth Martinez,
yeah, we got to figure out what happened to your meatballs.
which I'm fine with it. I'm not upset with you, but I'd like to talk to you for a minute. Ruth,
Yeah.
are you on?
Yeah.
I want to look at you in the face. Can I look at you? Your picture's beautiful.
Let me see. Wait.
A ver?
Wait.
Here she comes.
There we go.
Actually, both of us in the kitchen.
Okay. Ruth,
Yeah.
you cooked those meatballs however you wanted to, right? You cooked them in the sofrito?
Well, no. We actually followed the recipe because I'm visually impaired. We try to do things a little bit ahead.
Okay,
So
I
we
like
already
that.
had- Yeah, we already had some meatballs in the oven,
Okay.
just so we can be with pace.
So they're
you
a
know, with
step
the-
ahead of us,
Yeah.
is what happens.
So Ruth, what's funny is that's another way though. I know you did it the right way, but you actually you can cook.
It was
What'd she
Abigail's
say?
idea. She's like, I love the sauce. I love the meatball. Why don't we put them together? And I'm like, okay.
That's
So
your daughter.
they do go together. But I will tell you that you can actually cook the meatball in the sauce if you'd rather. I like it separate, but you can absolutely do that, and it's delicious that way too. Ruth, have you tried the meatball yet?
Yes, I did.
How'd I do?
Delicious.
Yay!
I
Yay!
love it. Yeah.
That makes me happy. Oh, that's great, sweetheart. That makes me so happy. You made my day. Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Let me tell you, we're changing the way we cook here, and actually we're learning to use less product.
Yeah.
And cook more and healthier, and like it's amazing how like not too much, not too many herbs and stuff can give such flavor,
It's incredible. It's incredible, isn't it? How you can actually use less ingredients and get more flavor out of food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we love that. We're loving it, and we're loving it because we're learning to save money and be able to stretch, what we have at home. Especially the way things are today, so everything is expensive.
That's why we do this. That's why we do this. I mean, that is such a gift. You really you hit it on the nail. That's why we do this. We chefs love to cook with the least amount of ingredients possible. Not only because it's healthier, it's less expensive, but also you can really shine. An ingredient can shine. You know what I mean? Like if we wanted the meatball to shine. That's all you had to eat. Like I love these meatballs with a little side salad, and that's it. That's what I serve my family, and they love it. My son might not eat the salad, but he loves just a good albondiga with a side of rice and frijoles like this. And there's nothing better. It's so simple. I'm so glad you enjoy. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. All right, so my rice is done. I'm actually going to put my rice, because my albondigas are coming any second. Do you know if we've been about 18 minutes? I'm pretty sure, because Amanda.
I think that's where they just went.
Okay,
they
good.
Went to get
so
we're getting ready.
I'm going to start my platter. I'm going to take my rice.
Yes, I see, Adrian, you got your rice there. If it's cool enough to handle, go ahead and take it out of the bag, and just as Chef is doing here, go ahead and put it on the bottom of the platter.
So I'm actually going to put it up on one side.
Oh, on
like
one
this.
side, okay.
Sorry.
No.
I don't want to lose my rice.
Right, okay.
So I'm going to put it over here, up on one. I'm going to tuck it into a corner of the dish.
Good. We've got an overhead shot on you so they
Oh,
can see
good.
what you're doing.
Perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? I have to rinse off my spoon.
Cedriana wants you to see her sauce.
Cedriana, stick a spoon. Oh, no, you don't have to stick a spoon. You're ready. You're good. I'm going to rinse this off.
Okay.
I'm rinsing off my spoon, everybody. Give me a second. Sorry.
Chef is still in the kitchen. She hasn't left us yet.
I'm ready. Not yet. All right. So take your black beans. I hope you guys like black beans. Does everybody here like black beans? It scares me.
Yeah.
'Cause now I don't know. Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we good with black beans? Okay. I like mine juicy, so I'm going to go ahead and put not only the bean over my rice, but also I like to take that juice and pour it over. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I add like cumin and pepper and onions to my canned black beans. I do make them every day at the restaurant, so sometimes when I'm home, I just don't feel like making fresh black beans from scratch, so I open up a can. But I always throw in a little flavorings. But today, because our tomato sauce has so much flavor in it and so much sazon, I actually opted not to go with so much sazon on my black bean because I don't want them competing. You never want competing flavors. So something has to be kind of subdued, you know. So the white rice is really plain. The black beans are just taste like good black beans. And then we've got our beautiful sauce. So our albondigas are ready. Woohoo! Thank you, Mandy.
Oh, they look perfect. Nice and brown.
Wow, these are gorgeous. I'm very happy. So these are the way my albondigas came out. They're golden all over.
Let's get an overhead shot.
Smell.
I smell it. It's
Smells
great.
so good.
Madsen, can we get a shot of that?
Hold on, let me find the camera. There we go.
Nicely browned. Perfect. You did so well measuring the size. They're evenly sized.
I better be. Okay, so I'm going to do something I think that Ruth did. I'm going to plop half of mine into the sauce, okay? And I'm actually going to take them from the sauce right onto our dish, and then I'll put some other ones on top of that. So I've got some more juicy ones, and then I've got some more crisp ones straight from the oven. But I love how golden these turned. Be careful, Ray, because yours are so big, you don't want them to get too much color. So after about 20 minutes, go ahead and see how they're looking. Ray, are you with me? I just want to make sure I'm talking to you.
Yeah, he's there.
I know
Take
he's
him a
there.
second.
Oh, good.
it
There
goes.
he is. Okay. Ray, so after 20 minutes, check your meatballs. If they're getting a lot of color, it doesn't mean they're ready. Lower your oven to about 3 to 325 and go ahead and cook them for the good, another 4 minutes. Okay, honey? Because I don't want them getting dark before they're ready. So if you have, that's what happens with really big meatballs, is they get really crusty and really dark before they're ready on the inside. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to top these with some of the,
I like how you're doing the meatballs, some in sauce and some
I have a
not.
question.
okay.
Two questions, actually.
Okay.
What are you doing with the olives? I mean, I don't know, what am I doing?
What are you doing with what? The olives? So the olives and the capers went into the tomato sauce. Now. It's good timing. You're ready.
No, I don't eat them.
Then put them in your refrigerator and let somebody else eat them. Okay, or give them to your neighbor. That's what I do a lot.
Okay.
All right, Cedriana,
Question two.
wait a second. I want to make a deal with you.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to make a deal with you. I will, I don't know what we'll figure out, but I want you to try one of those olives, okay? Just try it. Sometimes you may like it.
Hey, if you're going to make a deal with your children, you got to make a deal with yourself, too.
Exactly.
See, there's a children in my stomach, so I don't know if she's gonna like it.
All right, you had
Take a nibble.
You had a second question? Oh, wow.
It's thick.
Oh, come on.
Oh, wow. This is good.
She doesn't like it at all.
There's a seed in that.
There's a seed in yours?
There's a seed in the olives. We need a bloopers film for tonight. Let's definitely put together a bloopers film. So, okay, if you have seeds in your olives, it's still flavoring the sauce, but obviously be careful when you're eating it.
Cedriana does not have, you have a very pretty face, but right now I'm not sure what you're thinking.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, see?
It's just like a boiled peanut, but way more flavors.
I would take a bowl of peanuts. If I wasn't allergic to them.
Boiled.
Oh,
Boiled
I
peanuts.
love boiled peanuts. Oh my God, I miss boiled peanuts. I became allergic to peanuts, so
That's what it tastes like, sure.
delicious. Okay, everybody. So I spooned a little bit of my sauce that has my olives in it right over the top. Modson, you wanna show them this?
There we go.
There we
Put the
go.
olive in there now,
Don't put them in if you don't want them.
but it's extra good.
Then put them in.
You might want to take the seed out first.
Did you put the did you put the chopped cilantro in there?
Yes.
Good. They can keep it whole. They can just
That's
eat
fine.
around it.
Just eat
Yeah, it's
around
okay.
it. Okay.
It's all right. All right, everybody. This is what mine looks like.
It's beautiful, and I just tasted it with her. It was amazing. And you know what's so interesting, Michelle, is we use turkey, ground turkey,
Yep.
for a meatball.
Yep.
Traditionally, you think of ground beef,
Beef.
for a meatball.
Or pork or veal.
right.
All those three, yeah.
Right.
I love ground turkey. I love ground chicken. As a matter of fact, for my meatballs, for my picadillo, for my empanada filling, everything I make at home so that it can be a little healthier, I only use ground chicken or ground turkey.
Interesting.
Everything that I do with ground beef, I do exactly the same with ground turkey and ground chicken, and it's so much better. I have very high cholesterol, as does my husband, and as does my son.
Really?
And because of a medication he takes, he has very high cholesterol, and so I have to watch everything at home. And so we try to eat a little less beef, which is really hard for me because I'm Argentinian and we love meat.
Right.
So everything that can be, switched over, I do,
Right.
and you don't miss it.
Right.
You just don't.
You don't.
Nope.
And I'll tell you, the tip you gave about putting the yogurt in the meatball,
Yep.
I mean, that was a very moist meatball. And you
Mhm.
sometimes wonder if a chicken or a turkey is going to be a tougher meat, but it was
Not at all.
wonderful.
Yeah, and now you should try it with the sauce.
sauce.
Yeah, it's even
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Great. Good. Well,
Question.
uh-huh.
How, notice you said, how do you make black beans from scratch?
How do you make what from scratch?
Black beans from scratch.
Oh, honey, that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
So the quicker version is you got to soak the bean overnight. Then you cook the bean in a ton of water. And then when the bean is just cooked, you make a sofrito without the tomato sauce, just the onions and the peppers and everything. And you add whatever spices you like. Cumin is the best. And then you pour that into those beans and you keep it cooking for another like half hour after they're tender. And then you shut it off and you do something, deja que los frijoles duermen, which is you let the beans go to sleep. In that half hour that you let the beans just rest, your broth gets thickened naturally just from resting them. And that's the best way to cook a bean.
Have you ever done it on your show?
What, honey?
Have you done
Have
it
you
on your
ever did it
show?
on your show?
Have I ever done? I don't think so. Not from scratch because I don't have the time. The problem is, you know, beans take like 2 hours to cook. And no one's going to want to watch me boil beans for 2 hours. I'm going to lose everybody. They're all going to be bored to death. Yeah.
I would watch it.
Would you watch it? Well, then you know what? I will make them. I will do a show all about beans and I will mention you. Write down Cedriana Johnson and we will mention you in the show.
I have to watch it too.
That's right. And I will make a show all about beans and legumes just for you, my love. Okay? I'm going to dedicate the show to you.
Okay, what Adrian?
Let's see. Ooh, look at Adrian's.
Oh,
That's
wow.
beautiful.
Nice.
Honey, that is beautiful. Kenya, you ready yet?
We're missing something. Hold on.
Did you make heart-shaped meatballs?
She put cilantro on top of beans.
Oh, how beautiful. I love it. It's absolutely stunning. I hope you enjoy them.
Mira, Mami likes it.
Oh. Don't give him those meatballs. There's too many spices in there for him.
I
Okay.
know that human food is not good for animals. I know.
Well, it depends on the human food. I make my dog food, actually, and I give them salmon and
Did you
chicken.
know that the yogurt that we put on the meat, we can actually give the yogurt to the dogs?
I
so that
do.
they have sugar?
Yes, honey. My dogs love yogurt. You're right. But
Michelle-
as long as there's no sugar.
Did you see Emmanuel?
Oh, my God. Look at that plate.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, are you competing with me? That plate's nicer than mine is.
Yeah,
That's
look
beautiful.
At the smile on
Look
his
at
face.
that. That is gorgeous. Look at the steam coming off of it.
I know.
Oh,
This is my favorite part of the show.
I
is
know,
seeing everybody
right?
in their
This is
kitchens.
great.
Now they've got their dinner.
there goes Adrian to eat.
Yes. And again, just reminding you, we do this show every month. We budget to feed a family of 4 for under $20, so this is affordable for you. We try to use less than 10 ingredients to your point of simplicity
Yeah.
and flavor. And we get the best minds in Miami cooking right along with us and showing us tips. So I'm going to let you all go. Many of you are already ready. I see Kenya. Nice job. Nice job.
Let's see,
Show again.
Kenya. I want to see. Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Look at that clean, beautiful plate. That's beautiful, honey.
Yep. Congratulations to all of you. I know you're going to enjoy your dinner. Save that recipe. Make sure you've got that with all your other recipes and continue cooking healthy food. We're going to sign off for now. A huge
Thank you,
thank
Stacy.
you.
No, thank you.
Huge thank you to
And
Chef
thank you to
Michelle.
Stacy. She's the best to be here all the time with all of you. How
Yes.
wonderful.
I love you guys.
And thank you, Modson, as well. Thank you, Alessandra.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Amanda, thank you.
Yes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye.
Nice meeting you all.
Bye-bye.
My love to you all. Buen provecho. Bon appetit.
Bye.
Bon goût.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.